Good evening and welcome to the program, our one-on-one with the Messiah, Malcolm Blight, in a moment. But first, SA's free-range egg farce. A growing number of householders think they're doing the right thing, but as Hendrik Gout reports, we can't always trust the labels.
People who go to buy free-range eggs want to do the right thing, but often free-range eggs written on the carton doesn't mean free-range eggs inside that carton.
This is what you think of when you think free-range eggs. And this is what the chickens think of. Yep, 20,000 birds, even more per hectare, and still the carton can say free range. If you were a chicken, about this much space, perhaps tolerable for a 2-hour match, but not so good for every second of every minute of every life.
It's very hard if you're standing there as a consumer to know which products actually comply and which ones may have facilities that are unrecognisable from what you would expect.
Pace, Farm Pride, Coles, Woolworths, Manning Valley are all producing at stocking densities of 10,000 birds per hectare.
Last year, consumer group Choice found 213 million eggs marked free range weren't what shoppers thought they were.
213 million reasons for the fair trading ministers to end the deception.
Yet demand for free range is surging, tripling in the last 10 years. Why did you choose to buy those free range eggs?
I always buy South Australian and I always buy free range.
No, you don't, ma'am. In suburban Melbourne, this egg packaging plant labels its Victorian eggs Barossa Ridge and sells them that way even in Tanunda. And free range? Do you know how many birds they've got per hectare?
I have no idea.
Would you be surprised if I was to tell you that there is no real legal definition of free range?
Is that right? So there's no control.
There could have been real control if Labor benches in this building hadn't flocked together, because voting as a bloc, the government managed to beat a move to establish, and you wouldn't think this was controversial, a legal definition of free-range chickens and eggs.
The upper house passed it. It's the government that rejected it and said that they bring in a voluntary scheme.
A voluntary code on the road, that would mean like asking drivers and motorcyclists to voluntarily keep to the speed limit without cops or cameras. Yep, that would work, wouldn't it?
You've got to look at your carton and it still won't tell you where they're produced and packed. You can't do that to a chook.
Ange and John Rohde's Clare Valley eggs, their chooks, 1,500 per hectare, are genuinely free range. They have to compete with eggs at Coles and Woolies, which sell a very different definition. And that riles Greens MP Tammy Franks.
The people who are doing the right thing as producers are putting in all of the costs at their end and not getting the benefit at the other end, because consumers don't know that the product sitting right next to the good free-range eggs, the true free-range eggs, is actually fake free-range.
They can be at 10, 20,000 birds per hectare and not have the freedom that these chooks have got here with us now, and the consumer doesn't know, and it's not right, because we would like everybody to witness what happens here on the farm, because then they would know they're getting a really genuine free-range product.
So, how did these yokers get it so wrong? Because, says Liberal MP Michael Pengelly, Labor capitulated to big supermarkets and big producers. Who has the most power?
I believe the Australian Egg Corporation and the Eastern States are the ones that do all the heavy lifting on this. I don't trust them, I never have.
You were threatened, weren't you?
We were threatened. They threatened to lobby against myself and Adrian Pedrick prior to the last election. We said, go your hardest.
In an unprecedented alliance, Pengelly and Franks introduced identical bills which would have defined free range as 1,500 birds maximum per hectare. Would you like to see, say, printed on the carton the number of birds per hectare?
Something like that would probably do.
This is a barn. This is a barn. This is a label that says barn laid, and this is the barn where they were laid.
We want a label that tells us what we're buying.
The answer? Grow your own, like Andy Warren. And if you can't do that, there's always this.